Well, here we are on a fantastic sunny day at the National Flying Site at Muncie, Indiana. And I'm here with Allen Goff, our control line expert. And Allen, tell me a little bit about yourself and some of your past experiences in the part of the hobby about U-Control.
Well, I started out flying when I was 8 years old. My dad built me my first control line model. I do remember going out and I got dizzy and fell down. So from there, I've been flying mainly sport up until about maybe 10 years ago. And I got my first love was control line aerobatics.
Okay.
And so I started flying, going to a lot of contests, met a lot of guys around here, really nice guys to fly with. And so do a lot of traveling, mainly in the Midwest and down to Florida, and maybe to St. Louis or so, and compete. And then about 3 years ago, I got interested in scale. I looked at some of the airplanes that you built and some of my control line buddies and thought I might try that. So I did a few years ago and got initiated. And then so this is the product of my first successful aircraft, and it's done quite well at the Nats. Last year we were fortunate enough to get first, and this year
congratulations.
We got second. So scale's fun, and aerobatics is fun also.
Good. Well, me being a scale guy, I kind of love this thing, this PT-17. We're going to talk about this in a minute, but before we get there, it seems like everybody or a lot of the people that have gotten involved in this sport have flown U-Control at one time or another. If we were going to suggest something today, say the amateur was going to come out today and wanted to get a U-Control plane and go out and learn how to do this, what would you recommend they start with?
Well, there's several companies out that makes inexpensive, easy to build airplanes. That would be my suggestion. Like Brodak has a nice line of profile airplanes, low cost, SIG, and there's some other companies out there. Motor-wise, everybody I think that's ever flown a model airplane has a Fox 35 in their drawer.
Okay.
And so Fox 35 has sort of been the staple, but there's a lot of other fine motors out there now, low cost. So that's where I would start.
Okay. Is there anything in that like ARF pre-built small type stuff that you can still buy today or not?
There is, and I think the ones that they put out now fly even better than the ones that when you and I first started.
Okay.
I know that it was like flying around, just around circles. They wouldn't do a whole lot, but you got used to flying controls. And nowadays they've got some out that if you want to get out there and cut some holes in the sky, it'll do it.
That's great. So if you didn't want to get dizzy and fall down, what would be your recommendation for somebody? What do they do? What do they focus on when they're going around in a circle so they don't get dizzy?
Well, a lot of people in their first time out they can't help but be captured by the background.
Okay.
And so they see the blur of the background, and then they focus on the background and they lose sight of the airplane, and then they're switching back and forth, and next thing you know, they're getting a little dizzy. And so now here in Muncie, Westside Park, about 2 times a year, we have a training session where we put it in the newspaper where we're having free learn how to fly control line.
Oh, that's great.
Come out, and we always tell the person that's beginning that if you feel dizzy, which you probably will your first time up, just let us know. We'll take over the controls. You can sit down, get your thoughts back together, and get back up. And usually about 1 or 2 flights, and really that dizziness goes away.
Oh, neat. Okay, let's talk a little about this airplane. You know, being a scale guy like I am, man, I love this thing. It's beautiful. What aircraft is this? Is it a, first of all, tell us a little bit about it, and then is it a kit, is it scratch built, or whatever?
It's a Stearman PT-17. It started out as a Sterling kit, which they don't produce anymore. There are still some of those out there. And I'll have to say my first experience in scale, I re-kitted this.
Oh, okay.
And then I had to rebuild it. And so it's kit, scratch built. But anyway, it has a Saito 91 4-stroke on it with a throttle, RC engine.
Okay,
and
so it's actually an RC engine.
Yes.
If you went to this type of airplane, you could actually use your RC engine in this aircraft, right?
Correct, yes. It takes a special bell crank, but those are readily available at most hobby stores.
Okay, so that's what the third line I see here is. You literally have a throttle control on your hand control, correct?
Right. Now, some of the other scale models will run more than 3 lines, or even run 2 lines, where they actually have a radio that is mounted to the side with some type of control.
Okay.
Now, in scale, you're not allowed to have anything that goes over the free air.
Right.
It has to go down through the line.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I see. Well, that's neat. I mean, and your detail on this thing is great. I see you have the rib stitching cloth on the wings, and Looks like you have functional ailerons, although do those work in conjunction with the elevator in any way or not?
In some airplanes, they would. In this particular one here, I decided not to do that, but I do have another airplane scale that does have functioning
ailerons.
Yes, So
great, great. Well, it's really pretty, and we're looking forward to see it fly, so let's go do it.
Okay.
Okay, now this flight sequence you're going to do, this is like the same thing you do in scale competition. So
yes.
If somebody wanted to enter a U-control airplane in scale, this is the kind of thing they're going to have to do, this entire sequence, right?
Right. You have 6 options where you get your points off of.
Okay.
And these here would go towards that, and then a set of 2 judges would judge you accordingly.
Okay.
So
I'm excited. Let's do it.
Okay. We'll run a few laps here at level flight, trying to attain what would be scale flight for this aircraft. Okay, now we'll do what is called a high flight, which is 45 degrees from the pilot. In competition, 3 laps is required on this. Then we'll throttle back down. Now what we'll try to do is we'll try to do a touch and go. We'll see how the wind plays with us here. We better throttle back up. Okay, now we'll come down and we'll do a landing, and we'll stop, and then we'll taxi. Now we'll taxi.
Allen, excellent job. What a beautiful flying airplane. I mean, it looks just fantastic in the air.
Thank you.
I can understand why you win the Nats like you do. That's great. Okay. Well, now we're going to step up in performance a little bit here with Allen. He's going to do a demonstration of his aerobatic airplane, I guess. Would you call it a stunner, aerobatic? What would you call this?
Well, I guess carryover from the old days, stunt.
Stunt, okay.
Stunt, yeah.
So we're going to see a great stunt demonstration. Tell us a little bit about the airplane, if you would.
Well, the airplane is made strictly for competition. I wouldn't advise a beginner going out and doing this because this is high dollar, for control line anyway. It has a Aero 61, Precision Aero 61 tune pipe for power.
Okay.
And the airplane is basically scratch built. And I've copied some numbers off of some other airplanes and incorporated into this to get what feels good to me, to my hand.
Now these naturally don't have strings. These things use cables out to that handle. What kind of cable do you attach this thing to your hand with?
These here are 18 thousandths, 9-strand cable, and I can't tell you what they'll withstand, but I know that they'll withstand everything that this airplane wants to throw at it.
Okay.
And on the handle, we have to wear a safety thong.
Okay, I noticed that on your scale airplane, that you put that little lanyard around your wrist. That's what you call that, a safety thong, right?
Yes, in case something goes wrong. Now, it's hooked to the down side.
Okay.
So if something goes awry,
you crash the airplane.
Yeah.
But nobody gets hurt. That's what it's
correct,
all about.
Yes.
Okay. So what are we going to see this flight?
We'll do some level flight, then we'll do what is called a reverse wing over, where we'll go out, we'll pull inverted, come back a half a lap, and pull back over again. Then we'll do inside loops, inside squares, outside squares, a triangle, a horizontal 8, horizontal square 8, and then we'll do some overhead stuff and end it up with a 4-leaf clover.
See, those are the kind of maneuvers I do with my sport jets. I can't imagine this thing taking place with a control line airplane, but I'm anxious to see it. I'm sure it's going to be exciting.
Well, we'll have fun.
Let's go.
Okay.
Now, do you have an engine shut-off on this, or do you just fly till you're out of fuel?
No, it has to, you have to fly under 8 minutes.
Okay.
And so in order to get maximum points. If you don't, then you lose your flight pattern points, and they call it an overrun, and so you're 25 points.
Okay, so your fuel tank capacity's got to be tweaked to your flight sequence, your engine size, all that.
Right, and no 2 engines are the same. I've got several models of this particular airplane and engine setup, and they're all different.
Wow.
Okay, next time around, I'll Go into a reverse swing over. Now we'll do 3 outside loops. Pull out inverted. We'll do 6 level inverted laps. Okay, next time around we'll do 3 outside loops. We'll do 2 level laps, and then we'll do a square, an outside or an inside square. Now we'll come around 45 degrees and do an outside square, 2 of them. This time around, we'll do 2 triangles. This time around, we'll do 2 horizontal 8s. Two laps. Now we'll do a vertical 8. Okay, this time 2.5 laps, and we'll do an overhead 8. Now I'm going to do 3 outside maneuvers just to straighten the lines out. Because right now there are 3 twists in my lines.
Looked awesome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you.